conversations had so far, we've not really talked about the kids. Even though we talk about education, we've really not talked about the kids. I find that very interesting because the campaign 2 years ago, and certainly 4 years ago, a major piece that was on the table is, gee, why don't we have a Boys and Girls Club for kids? Why don't we have a teen center, something for kids? And that has not been discussed at all. All right, all I know I had in my mind. So let me deal with the broad brush first. So when we begin talking about our plan of conservation and development, which that's your future planning for your city, it's what kind of city do you want to have? I would imagine if you have an inclusive process, moms like you would say, hey, listen, this is something that's important in our community that we need to be able to provide for. And how does that happen? All right, I imagine a lot of people would say that. This is a little piece of it. Strategic plan would be, okay, how do we get there? How do we make that happen? All right? Because my mindset is, when we start talking about all these different schools that we're doing, and that's what my idea was, you know what, let's not just look at 4 schools, let's really take a real study of the entire district, bigger than that study that was done, okay? One that really ties in with their plan for school choice. That means that I need to take a look at all these schools and where would I place whatever I'm going to do. And should we have another swimming pool inside the city of Norwalk since we only have one? All right? Part of that would be, guess what? We've lost a YMCA. How else do we replace something like that? I remember when I came to this city years ago, we had a South North Community Center over there at off of Suncrest Road, I forget. They had a community center. We had a number of community centers in the community where kids had something to do, something to play. So I am all for that. I'm glad you brought this issue up. But that happens through, I think, through our plan of conservation development. After that strategic plan, we go through the process. Everyone buys into it. Everybody understands what it will take to get this done. All right? And now you have to have a leader who's going to decide, hey, how do we get this done without just taxing the people so much? So again, that goes back to what I talk about, public-private partnerships. What are we invested in? What do we want to get done? Because guess what? When people see this is our vision of what you want to see, what do you want Norwalk to be like? And that's why I'm concerned we have so many millennials who don't have kids. We may not prepare for that. That's why this is the time we need to do that kind of planning, because people love our bedroom communities. We need to protect that as well. I'll rebut a little later. There's so much more I can add to this, but this quite frankly is one of the more important issues bringing up, because people just don't want to come to a community that I know that I can work in New York and I can sleep here at night.
He didn't take part of my time, did he? Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure. Are you finished? Okay. Well, first of all, we lost the YMCA. What a shame that was, really. The hospital purchased it. I have been in discussions with the president of Norwalk Hospital, the president of the Western Connecticut Health Network, asking them to give that building back to us. They are keeping that building right now because they want to put a medical center, a medical office building there. So they're not sure what's going to happen. The problem with that building is the YMCA was a not-for-profit organization, and the building became just non-functional. It just needs to be knocked down and something rebuilt in its place. Now, as far as the Boys and Girls Club, when I found out that the YMCA was closing, we reached out to the Boys and Girls Clubs Association. We asked them to consider coming to Norwalk, looking at the YMCA building, seeing if they would be interested in coming here, because I firmly believe that we need a Boys and Girls Club or a YMCA or something like that. So because they have a Boys and Girls Club in Stamford and one in Danbury, there was no interest right now for Norwalk, but it's still up for discussion. So we're trying to work through that. Then we talk about the community centers. There is a new community center being planned at Colonial Village. They have a whole plan up in Colonial Village for renovating the apartments and putting a new community center up there. So, and we've invested a lot of money in our sports fields. If you look at the complex at Nathan Hale, you look at some of the things we've done at Brian McMahon High School, Norwalk High School, but that takes money as well. So we're trying to build up a lot. We have a lot of after-school programs. There's after-school programs right here for young people to stay engaged. So really, there are lots of things for young people to do in the city of Norwalk. It's just reaching out and finding out. You can go to the Recreation and Parks Department and look at all the programs they have. There's lots of independent soccer leagues, baseball leagues, basketball leagues. Carver Foundation is a wonderful place that has a lot of opportunities for young people, computer training, skills training. So it's pretty much reaching out and finding the things that might interest children and getting them engaged and getting them actively involved so that they have some good constructive activities and structured time. Thanks.
The mayor brought up a very good point. It takes money to do this. In our planning and zoning, I'll just rattle off a couple things.
Well, it's the core of what's the problem.
It's the problem. $1.6 million we paid out in a settlement because of eminent domain for the police station from 2004. We were going to spend almost $5 million on a parking lot next to the library because we drove the price up on that when it was really going to be $2 million, and we doubled the value when we did something in the zoning department, let the developer decide he could put a bunch of apartments on it. So suddenly the value of the land became more valuable, and we were going to waste money there. We were going to give away another parking lot for nothing so they can build some more apartments. Oak Hills, back in '04, we built a $2 million restaurant. We should have just built a burger bar. That is perpetually in the red because it's got a mortgage of $9,000 a month. No restaurateur can make any money at that restaurant. We threw away money that way. Quintard Avenue. Those of you, if there's anyone here from Quintard Avenue, we got a lawsuit because of a prison halfway house in that neighborhood. BJ's up on Main Street. Lawsuit there from the Silvermine people. When we do stupid land use decisions, we get sued. And when we get sued, I probably added up maybe $10 million worth of money here. That's money that you don't have for parks and things for the kids. And that's about when you don't have a plan and you don't have management. So that's all I have to say about that.
Wait, we don't have the things for the kids because we didn't make sure that we had the things for the kids. And it isn't that we don't have anything for them. I think the mayor, laid out a number of programs that we have and institutions that do it, and I would look forward to the churches getting it done. After-school programs where we have folks at the churches, and in Colonial Village, I think there's already a small community center that runs a program after school and during the summer. We should keep these programs going. Our council people should be well aware of them. I know that I visited them regularly when I was on the council, not in Rowayton, not in West Norwalk, but of course in South Norwalk and in Brookside and in East Norwalk. That's where I visited them. And if we're not having enough of them, and I don't know that we're not, but if we're not, it's because we failed. We didn't pay attention that we need was there, and we include that in our planning. It's not because we got sued. It's because we didn't do the right things when we were thinking about development. Anyway, that's my point. Thanks.
1 minute. 1 minute.
So the answer you heard from the mayor was, we don't have the money. Okay? You're here because you failed the plan. All right? 4 years ago, there was a race. There was a lot was talked about what are we doing for our kids. And there were promises made by this mayor and others. So you've had 4 years to plan. You've had 4 years to figure out where the money is. All right? I don't think that's acceptable. Quite frankly, to say that we don't have it, so we're going to go with the status quo. Our kids deserve better. This city deserves better. We're a better city. And I will not be convinced. There's no way to convince. Why stop at the Boys and Girls Club? Sometimes talk about out of the box thinking. And you know what? And you're right. Because actually, I do know that there's churches. I was formerly the president of the North Clergy Association. We actually had a full plan of giving activities for kids. My issue here is that you have to have a leader at the top that is vested in getting this done, who will not sit and give you excuses that I don't have the money. You've got money for lawsuits. You got money for other studies that sit on shelves and do nothing. We need to get this city moving forward. I don't want to be moving forward on a train that's going to nowhere or is about to go off of a cliff and doesn't understand the great big wall that's in front of us. There's some serious things in front of us. We need to pay attention to this. We need a leader who's going to lead in the city, be innovative, out-of-the-box thinker, making certain that there's a vision that other people want to come to the city. They want to come to the city, and they want to invest in our city. Thank you.
I guess, just 1 second. I guess Mr. Morris was planning his next preaching. He never heard me say, I don't have the money. I never said I don't have the money. I said it costs money, And I said, we've invested money, and we have. We've put a lot of money into the schools, into the playgrounds, and into after-school programs. So I never said we don't have the money. I think that was somebody else.
I have